And like I said, there's text messages of it, and then they kind of asked it, but if you're telling him, you know, don't leave bruises on him, why didn't you leave?
There's a lot of different reasons. One of them was I felt like I didn't have anybody because I had, like I said, I cut out my family. I felt like I didn't have anywhere to go financially. The apartment was under my name, right? I could have stayed there. I could have kicked him out. I couldn't have paid all the bills by myself, though. Even the apartment, the car, the phone, like he helped me with all the bills. So that was part of it. But fear, I guess, would be the main reason why I didn't move.
How many cars did you have?
Initially we had two. One of them got repossessed because we had quit making payments on it. So we just had the one.
And did you have, was that your vehicle?
Yes.
During the day, who would have it?
He would.
And I think he would take you to work.
And he dropped me off, picked me up for lunch some days, drive back off, pick me up at the end of the day.
And there was, during the interview, I think the interview with law enforcement, they asked about a key to the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a key to the apartment?
No, there was only one key, and Zeke had it because he was at home all day.
Is that the key that was left in the street?
I mean, yeah, I'm assuming.
Let's move to that day in June. Do you remember that day?
Yes, sir.
How did you choose work?
He dropped me off that morning.
Were the boys with you?
Yes, sir.
And the day before, was that their last day of school?
Yes, sir.
And did they go to that day?
Yes, sir.
And I think there's a picture up there. Is that a picture of their last day of school?
Yes, the boys together.
With them together?
Yes, sir.
And then there was the other picture of Knox in the cowboy outfit.
That was their award ceremony. I don't remember how many days before the last day of school that was, but it was there at the end.
So you said they took you to work, and then he took the boys wherever he took them?
Mm-hmm.
And did you go home for lunch?
Yes, they came and picked me up. I was trying to clean because Zeke never cleaned and the house was a mess. I was trying to clean up. He'd make food or something. I don't know when he would eat, but I was trying to clean that up. I remember Knox grabbing a bottle of water and him like chugging down half the water, and then he ran to the bathroom and threw up. He came back and I was like, babe, are you okay? Like I felt his temperature, and he was like, no, I'm fine. He went and grabbed the dog for something, came back.
Do you remember getting the text about your son?
Yes, sir.
And do you remember them coming to your hospital?
Yes,
Your
sir.
work?
Yes, sir.
And explain what happened next.
So he I don't know if he texted me or called me. He's like, Mom, Knox is sick. He threw up again. Something's wrong. He needs to go to the hospital. And I was like, okay, well, I'm clocking out. Come pick me up. Because we were going to take him to Driscoll. And so I ran out. I remember Zeke opening the back door, and I thought Knox looked at him, but he might not have actually been looking at him. He might have been gone already. But he just grabbed him, and he turned around, and he was like, I don't know. I was like, give him to me. So I grabbed him, and I took off running back into the hospital. Since I worked there, I knew where to go. So I was screaming the whole way in there, and then they got him at the operating room at the ER, and they got him back. They were doing chest compressions. They got a tube down his throat, and then Driscoll came and picked us up. We went over there, and they were looking at him, said that they needed to go and do a surgery in his stomach, and then we got off the surgery table.
And you were eventually interviewed by law enforcement that day?
Yes, sir.
A couple times, right?
Yes, sir.
Why didn't you mention anything about the abuse?
I was scared. I was told to not say anything by Zeke, because we had a CPS case that we dealt with prior to that, in January. And he told me that not to say anything, that he would hurt me if I said anything, that they would take my boys away from me, that basically I had no chance. Like, it was my word against his, no one would believe me. So I was just, I don't know, I was scared.
And for a long time, you never blamed Zeke, is that correct?
Yes.
At least outwardly, right?
Yeah.
And there's text messages between you and AJ, other people saying, you would never do that.
Yeah.
Did that eventually change?
Yes, so I covered up for him a lot, but I think after everything happened, we got arrested, I think I was in denial of a lot of it also. I didn't want to believe that this person who I thought loved me and loved my boys could do something like this, So yeah, I was in denial for a long time, pretty much up until he took the plea deal.
And why did that change your outlook?
Because to me, if you know you didn't do something, if you know you had no part in anything, and he kept telling me over and over that he was gonna take it to jury trial. He was like, I'm taking it all the way, Bethany, I didn't do this. I didn't hit him like that. And so for me, if you know you didn't do something, take it all the way, what's there to hide from? But then whenever he took the plea at the last minute, I was just shocked, I guess. But there's a lot of realization that came with that.
What did you realize?
That he did this, that he killed my baby.
And you've had a long time now to reflect on all this, right?
Yes, sir.
You're in the county jail, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You've been in there a long time.
3 years, 8 months, 1 week, and 2 days.
And you communicated with Zeke during that time?
Yes, sir.
He communicated with you?
Yes, sir.
Both, through phone messages, and maybe tablet messages and letters?
Yes, sir.
What were those communications like?
So at first, like I said, I cut my whole family out. So I didn't have their support through all this, especially, they'd answer the phone every time. His family was putting money on my commissary. His mom came to visit me a few times. And like I said, Zeke just kept saying that he didn't do this. He kept on saying that he was gonna take it to trial to prove that he had.
And you also have a tablet in there where you can communicate with other people, correct?
Yes, sir.
And one of those people you communicate with was your mother?
Yes, sir.
And initially,
No, me and my mom, we didn't start talking until recently because, this horrible thing happened, and I think a lot of the blame was put on me, which, there was a lot of things that I should have done, but I didn't do. So everyone is very upset. It's an upsetting situation. So, yeah, no, we didn't speak for a while.
this has already been admitted in State's Exhibit number 87. Small, but this is some messages that I believe from you, and who's Callie Corrigan, that's your mother?
Yes, sir. I was scared he would come for me either way. I'm still scared he's gonna manipulate his way out of this somehow and come after me for not keeping my mouth shut. I felt like I couldn't just run and hide also. I had worked so hard to finish school and get the job that I had. I didn't want to throw it all away. I feel like I was finally doing something for myself, but for what? None of it matters now. Of course, looking back now, I wish I would have made different decisions, because in the end,
We all lost something irreplaceable, and it's no one's fault but my own. Zeke had me so messed up.
I was the #1 person before this that would look at a similar situation and be like, oh no, that's not me. I would take my baby and I would run. But you don't know until you're in it. And I was so sucked down into this, I was drowning, you know? Of course, now that I'm so far out of it, I see all the points where I could have left. I could have called this person, and I should have. Every single time I should have called someone, I should have walked away. And I tried leaving. There was multiple times that I tried leaving. One night, me and the boys took off. I didn't have shoes on. We took off running down the road. And Zeke pulled up behind us in the car. And he got out, he grabbed me by my hair, and he threw me back in the car, made the boys get in, and threatened me that if I ever left again, it would be worse next time. He threatened to smash my skull in a few times. I mean, I didn't think he would ever do that, but those were threats that he made to me.
And he says, I didn't think you would ever do that. Now, there's things in there, where you say, you know, you're gonna kill them, don't kill them. Did you actually ever think that you would do that?
No, no, sir.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Can I apologize?
Say whatever you want.
AJ, I know you don't want to hear it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I let this happen to our baby. He was perfect. You know he was perfect. I'm never gonna... I'm sorry. And you can blame me all you want, because if I was in your shoes, I'd be doing the exact same thing you're doing. With Phoenix, with the way you handled everything. And I'm sorry.
Do you think you're the one to blame for this, Bethany?
I had a part in it. I feel like if I hadn't have stayed, we wouldn't be in this situation.
Knox would still be here
Yes.
if you had done something.
If I had not put them in the situation that they were in, yes.
If you had gotten help.
Yes.
If you had gotten them to safety. If you had followed up on your mom, your sister, and your best friend's pleas for you to get out of that situation, Knox would still be here today.
Yes.
There was a time when you left your kids for months with your sister Genesis, isn't that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You trusted her with your boys, didn't you?
Yes.
You knew that they would be in good care with her.
Yes, ma'am.
Yet why did you continue to leave them in a situation, not where they were being spanked, but where they were being abused? Why did you choose that?
Like I said, I felt like I didn't have anywhere to go. I felt like I was trapped. I felt like that was my only I know that it wasn't my only option. Now that I'm so far out of it, looking back, I realize that wasn't my only option. I had other options. But whenever you're in something like that, you don't see anything. You're blinded by everything that's happening.
People on the outside looking in maybe can understand that if you want to put yourself in a situation like that. But you not only put yourself in that situation, but you also put your two small, helpless children in this situation. Why?
Like I said, I was scared. I was scared it would get worse. And I mean, it got as bad as it could get. But I don't know. I felt stuck. I felt like I couldn't leave. I couldn't go anywhere.
When Mr. Rodriguez was asking you questions about your relationship with AJ and you not being happy in your marriage, you talked about feeling stuck in that situation because you had no job, you had no money, you had nowhere to go.
Yes, ma'am.
But when you were with Zeke, the opposite was actually true, isn't that correct?
In what way would you mean?
You had a job,
I did have a job.
you had income, you had a car, and you had a house.
Yes.
So you had a place to go that were yours, your own, correct? The lease was in your name.
Yes.
You could have, at any point, called the police and had him removed, couldn't you have?
I could have, and I should have,
And you didn't.
and I didn't.
That car was in your name. He had no right to be driving it.
No, ma'am.
You allowed him to drive it, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Those were your choices.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you agree that the entire time you were in a relationship with Ezekiel, you were making choices?
I was making horrible choices. Yes, ma'am.
When you talked about your relationship between AJ and Ezekiel and how different they were, you're very clear on what you didn't like about AJ and what you liked about Ezekiel. Isn't that correct? AJ stayed at home. He just wanted to be on the couch watching TV, eating popcorn. And you chose Ezekiel because you liked that he liked to do things. You liked the lifestyle that you were living with him. Isn't that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You liked drinking with him.
Yes, ma'am.
You liked partying with him.
Just fine partying.
Having friends over and consuming alcohol.
Yes, ma'am.
You liked going to Six Flags.
Yes, ma'am.
You liked going to Hooks games.
Yes, ma'am.
You liked just being out and living life, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you put that lifestyle and your choice to live that lifestyle over the safety and well-being of your children. Isn't that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Bethany, we're not talking about spanking. You saw the text.
So the night before that whole text conversation happened, me and Zeke were laying in bed, and I was telling him, I was like, they're not animals. You can't train a kid. You can't, like if a dog pees, you put their face in it, smack them on the butt. You can't do that to kids. You don't train kids. You love them and you teach them right from wrong. So then the next day, whenever that text came through, he said, Knox threw up. I was being sarcastic. I didn't mean for him to actually rub his face in it. I was referencing the conversation from the night before. Oh, well, hit him, rub his face in it, smack him on the butt. Like I didn't mean for him to actually put his face in his throw up. But
Do you expect us to believe that?
that's what it was.
And what about, tell me about you learning about him putting Knox or Phoenix's face in the toilet.
I didn't see that.
I'm asking you to tell me about you learning about it, because you said it in the text message, so where did that come from?
I heard the boys talking about, I don't know what it's called, I can't remember now, whenever they put, not a wet willy, swirly or something, I heard the boys talking about that. And I asked them, what are y'all talking about? And they both of them got shut up, they got real quiet, they didn't want to talk about anything. And so that's why I assumed, because they wouldn't talk to me about anything with Zeke. I would start to ask them and they would just had nothing to say. So when they did that is when.
Did you like that Zeke was like that to you?
No.
Did you like that he didn't let you get away with things? That's what you said in a jail call.
I think I might have meant like, because even AJ said that I walked all over him,
Mm-hmm.
and it was different with Zeke. I didn't necessarily like want it, or it was just different. I couldn't do whatever I wanted with Zeke.
And you liked that.
It was different, yes.
You liked that he would put his foot down with you. Isn't that
Not
right?
let me run all over, yes.
Not let you run all over him the way you ran all over AJ.
Yes,
You liked that kind of relationship.
yes, to an extent.
Hey, Bertrand. I'm showing you what's marked as State Exhibit 57. We talked about that earlier in your testimony with Mr. Rodriguez. Who is that?
That's Phoenix.
And what is that on his arm?
Marks.
You remember those text messages surrounding those marks?
No, ma'am.
You said to him, you're not spanking him, you're just choosing to hit him. Knowing that, this is December of 2020. You still stayed with him. That timeline has school records. And we saw the messages between you and Ezekiel, and we saw the conversations between you and the teacher about you purposely keeping them home from school.
Yes,
Mr. Rodriguez talked about other people not noticing, CPS not noticing, teachers not noticing. Who was the reason why CPS didn't notice and the teacher didn't notice?
Me,
Why?
because I was hiding everything.
You were keeping them home from school, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
When they had marks on their bottom,
Yes, ma'am.
marks on their arms, marks on their faces, you were hiding it actively. Your kids could have gone to school and maybe they would have gotten help, isn't that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And maybe you would have gotten help,
Yes, ma'am.
but you didn't want help. And now where are you today?
I'm in jail,
And your son is gone.
and my son is gone.
On June 4th, 2021, you were told by Zeke twice that Knox threw up. You go home from work, he throws up again. Phoenix says that his lips are turning purple and that his skin is changing colors. Your son is sick. You still go back to work, isn't that right?
I never saw his lips a different color.
Was Knox feeling ill?
He threw up during lunch that day.
So much so that you Googled 4-year-old won't stop throwing up, isn't that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yet you go back to work, to a hospital,
Yes, ma'am.
and you learn at least 3 other times that your son has thrown up.
Yes, ma'am.
How many times does a child have to throw up before you realize it is an emergency and they need medical attention immediately?
I don't know.
Oh, you're a trained medical professional, aren't you?
I'm a medical assistant, yes, ma'am.
You have more than the average person's knowledge of medical training, isn't that correct?
I guess I would say that.
I mean, you have a special certificate, don't you?
Yes, I'm the one that brings them back from the waiting room. So I get their height, their weight, their medical history, what medicines they're on. That's about the extent of it.
So how many